Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on My Team Career Mode for F1 2021. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I've been pretty busy the last few weeks, so I haven't had the time to really do the races and edit the videos and stuff, so apologies for not uploading very regularly, but now everything's back to normal. I've got time to do this, so we're back in the driver's seat after what was the last race. So the last video I uploaded was the absolute debacle at Spa, where we finished first, but some glitch in the game meant that I got relegated to P2, and Giovinazzi got bumped all the way up into P1 because of some ridiculous thing. So we should have won the last race, but we didn't. We did also skip a grid penalty, which we should have taken. So, I guess karma for that, but still, frustrating. But we're still P2. So now we're heading off to Monza. So hopefully we can get some redemption there. I'm pretty sure we won at Monza last season. High-speed track as well. Pretty much just all about putting your foot down and going for it, so we can do that. It has been a while since I've sort of gone through all of these facility things, so from what I can remember, we are just we're sort of focusing on trying to upgrade the car as much as we can. We're doing reasonably well. Car's looking good. We have got some points. I'm more confident this season than we were last season. Getting some. We've had a couple of wins, I think, this season. Some decent results. We come off the P2 in last race. I think we won the race before that. It was Silverstone, so we did win that. So yeah, we're doing reasonably well, sitting P4, I think, in the drivers at the moment, behind Verstappen, Hamilton second, Bottas, and currently in P1. So Mercedes still dominating the championship at the moment. We are just sort of going through all the regular facility stuff, trying to save up some cash. We do need to upgrade some of the facilities so we can get to Spec 3, so that we can get some more of those upgrades going. Resource points are looking pretty good. Cash is flowing in. We've got some of the last few upgrades going on, which is great. We've maxed out Aero, so we have shut that facility down to save us some money. Focusing now on chassis. Chassis being Spec 3, I do believe. So we do have Ultimate Brake upgrade that we are looking to put on, hopefully before the next race. So we head off to Monza now, straight into qualifying. Practice is pretty much a foregone conclusion every single time now. Lap 3 of qualifying here. We were putting in some pretty competitive laps, currently sitting in P5. Had a little bit of a cool down lap just before this one, before we put in our best lap here. So already up 7/10 on that first sector. We did get a good run out of that last corner onto some pretty well warmed up softs on a track that has already had quite a few of the cars do decent laps, so should have plenty of grip for this lap as we go off a little bit there. But 1.5 seconds up here. I did bump the difficulty up a little bit before this race. I think we're sitting in the high 50s for this one as we go purple through sector 2. We have minimal fuel, so this is going to be the last lap we'd be able to do before we run out of fuel. So the car is as light as we can possibly get it. We lose a little bit of time coming out of sector 2 there, but we're still well up. 1 second up in our previous lap. A little bit slower there through sector 3 though. We lose about 4/10. We cross the line, fastest lap of 1:20.1, which puts us on pole. We are taking a grid penalty, I do believe. I'm pretty sure I did have to change one of the engine components, so we will be taking a grid penalty this race. Coulthard in P7 though, so both Cross GT racing cars in the top 10. So hopefully we can get ourselves a double points finish this this Grand Prix. But we'll have to wait and see.
We're back in Italy once again for another round of the Formula One World Championship. And what a great race is in store for us today here at the oldest circuit on the calendar. Monza hosted its first race all the way back in 1922, with top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average. Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, George Russell and David Coulthard, Bottas, Ricciardo, Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. The captain, Verstappen, Lando Norris and Stroll, Giovinazzi, Schwartzman, Christian Lundgaard and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Ocon, Joe and Nikita Mazepin. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
This is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix. Let's give them a race worth watching.
Okay, so starting P11, Coulthard not taking a grid penalty this race, so he is bumped up to P6. One stop this race, which we're pretty much going to be doing. I think we've pretty much done most of the season, and I can only imagine we'll be doing it for the rest of the season as well. Going softs to hards, I'm feeling a lot more confident this season on the hards, rather than trying to run sort of two-stop races or trying to stretch out mediums. So we'll have to wait and see as Ricciardo gets a horrible start, but he manages to get back up. We just trying to be careful here. This first chicane, always a messy one off the start. Yellow flag already, which is always to be expected. We managed to get up into P10 alongside Gasly, who just has much better speed coming out of that chicane. He did have a much better line. But we do a dive bomb on him, and we get right up alongside Bottas. We do give him quite a big squeeze there, and it looks like we've displaced him a bit, as there is now a huge gap opening behind us. 1.8 seconds, taking a look at that. So we went right up alongside Gasly. We did come alongside Bottas. We did push him out a bit. And no contact or anything there. Pretty clean. He does move, but he hits the... So that curb there is quite high. And he lost a lot of time pretty much getting off the ground. So having to basically brake and then recorrect himself once he hit the ground. So that gives us quite a healthy gap between ourselves and him. P8 now, following along behind Russell. There was a little bit of a gap after that overtake, but we have managed to close it a little bit. Only half a second behind Russell now in the Alpine. I'm pretty sure he's racing for Alpine now. I can't remember. It's been quite a while since I've obviously done a video, so trying to remember who's racing for who. As Coulthard makes a move on Tsunoda, he's now up into P5. So things are looking good at the moment. I mean, it is only one lap in. As we make a huge dive bomb. As we get Russell and Tsunoda, we lose the back end onto the gravel. We lose that position to Tsunoda, but we manage to stay ahead of Russell. Lucky to hold on to that one there. P7 now. So we are making tracks in this race. We are showing some decent pace. Coulthard has pulled away. He's now over 2 seconds ahead of us. But early days still. Plenty of time to catch up. Car's feeling really good on this track. We're not using really high downforce like we normally use. Using more of a balanced setup this race. So we managed to just sneak around the outside of Tsunoda there with a much better line, but he has a better run on us.
this lap, we can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Thanks, Jeff. DRS now activated. Sonoda just has a better run on us on that home straight. Gets back home to P6. But we have gained about 6 tenths on Coulthard. At that point, we're still gaining on him now. DRS on Sonoda. We're purple through sector 2 now. Not quite hitting the apexes as well as I would have liked through that section there. But we always have a really good run out of those S's through there. We just don't quite have the staying power, the top speed to be able to maintain that on the straight, but we do get a really good jump out of those corners, which gives us a pretty good launch and a little bit of a head start on the AI on that straight. We have DRS on Coulthard now, so now we're gaining with P5 and P6. It is a few seconds between ourselves and what looks like both Ferraris. We've got a yellow flag. Something's going on. Someone's going slow. It looks like Perez is slowing down, and he is. It looks like he is. He's out of the session, so he was slowing down. So I'm assuming some sort of an engine failure there.
Green flag.
Back to green flag running. We're now P4 and P5 early on in this race. As we take a look at here, Perez, yeah, engine failure. Quite disappointing for him, as he has to let both the Ferraris go. So Ferrari having a great time in this race. Both Ferraris P2 and P3, both cross GT racing cars, Ferrari powered cars P4 and P5, as we make an awesome move around the outside of Coulthard. Looks like he did give us a bit of space. Probably some team orders there coming into play. So we are now up in P4 as we go wide at the final corner, which gives Coulthard some time to get to catch up a little bit. But we do have really good acceleration coming out of the corners, so we do pull away a little bit. But he is gaining on us quite quickly thanks to the DRS. So if we can pull him along, we might be able to get double podium here today. We just gotta sort of keep our wits about ourselves. If I can get within range of the Ferraris, and well, it looks like now Coulthard's falling behind. I don't know what's going on there, but the Ferraris are squabbling, which is why we've been able to catch up lap 6. Both Ferraris are trying to get the better of each other through the chicane, and it's managed to allow me to catch right up to them. As we come up to the next chicane, we go for a dive bomb. We're going to get both Ferraris in one go.
Fantastic. 2 cars at once. Very well done.
Thanks, Jeff. We managed to get both Ferraris here in their home Grand Prix in one corner. They brake early, we brake really late. We come alongside Leclerc, and he gives us the space, and we managed to stay on the track. A little bit of gravel caught up in that rear wheel, but we managed to get up into P2.
2.1 seconds.
Leclerc now, DRS, makes quick work of us before heading into turn 1. A little bit of a lock up there on the brakes, so we lose a little bit of time there, but we are we're still within DRS range, which is really good for us, because we're going to need that if we have any hopes of catching up to Hamilton, who's 6 seconds ahead. He is miles ahead of us. He's already gone around the next corner. We can't even see him, he's that far ahead. And by the time we get around this corner, he's already gone again. So it's going to take quite a lot of work for us to catch up to him. So we're gonna need the help of Leclerc here to help get us back within range of him. We have got DRS. He tries to squeeze us right out on the inside of the track. We managed to get back in front. We've managed to gain a few tenths on Hamilton. Purple through sector 2, but we are going to need Leclerc to try and potentially pull us along if we want to catch up. But he is falling back a bit. I don't want to ease off and let him back in front of me because it's not really going to help us. I kind of need for him to lift his game and actually overtake me. And he is gaining time on me, but he's just not quite doing enough to really help me out. We do manage to see Hamilton, but he's pulled away. Although all that time that we did gain on him, it's already gone again. He's back up to 6 seconds. We are only 7 laps in. We've got 20 more laps to go. But yeah, lap 11 now, and that gap is still the same. We can't really gain on him, although he's into the pits now. So we're going to stay out.
We're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can.
Okay, so we've changed the strategy. We're going on to mediums
David is coming
this
in for a
lap.
stop.
Rather than going on to the hards. The tyre wear on the softs was actually really good. So mediums, we should be able to go right to the end of the Grand Prix. Like, we've still got pretty decent grip. The times that we're putting in aren't amazing, but they're not bad. We're still pulling away. As we go wide at the chicane and off the track, and that is going to cost us a lot of time. We were 3 seconds up on signs. We're now only 1.5, yeah, 1.6. We do manage to claw that back a bit, as we just managed to sneak in underneath the speed limit for the pit lane into the pits onto mediums, stretching them out to the end of the Grand Prix. Tyre upgrades are pretty good, so we are probably going to be able to get to the end of the Grand Prix on these somewhat comfortably.
On the exit, we'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
But it is going to be a little bit of work for us to catch up as we rejoin on the track back in P2. But now Hamilton is he's actually 7 seconds ahead of us now, almost 7.5 seconds ahead of us. So he's gained a second and a half between the 2 pit stops. But we are slowly starting to claw it back. Lap 14, we've got him down to 6.5, so we are slowly getting back. At this rate, we should be able to get within range of him by the end of the race. We could possibly pass him, but we're going to have to stay pretty consistent.
Okay, the gap
We do have,
is 4.1 seconds.
so we've got a good 4-second gap to Leclerc.
Caution.
We do have it's 5.9 seconds now to Hamilton.
Next part of the track, no overtaking through the yellow flags.
We've got a yellow flag here. Hamilton's going slow. Hamilton's off the track, and Hamilton's out of the session. I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming engine failure, because he was miles clear. He was on his own, and right there, just as he gets to the end of the straight, massive engine failure. Hamilton was still 6 seconds. He was 5.9 seconds ahead of us heading into that corner. So we were gaining on him, but it was going to be pretty tight. We were gaining on him by about 4 or 5 tenths a lap at that point. So we're still going to come down to the last couple of laps. And with DRS, anything could have happened. But now Hamilton's out, and we have taken over the lead of this Grand Prix, and we have almost 4 second gap to Leclerc. So all we have to do is just hold on for the rest of the race. But the real battle is now happening behind us, as Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri is now making moves on, I think that's Sainz in third. Leclerc's in second. He's making moves. He's now trying to battle with the Ferraris here. He's right alongside. He does get in front. They've both got DRS. It's a sprint down to turn 1. Both on the brakes pretty hard. Oh, Sainz mounts the curb. Gasly gets the inside, but he doesn't get a good exit. And Sainz gets back in front. So now the battle for P3 is really the highlight of this race at the moment. We've now gained about half a second on Leclerc. 4.5 seconds ahead on, I do believe, slightly fresher mediums. Fastest lap there.
Fastest lap of the race so far.
we do go 2/10 faster than our previous best, which is just enough to get the best lap. But behind us, Gasly's got DRS on Sainz, and now he's looking to make his move, and he does so very easily, heavy on the brakes. Pierre Gasly now up into P3, he's on the podium. AlphaTauri will be very happy with that, as we are still flying up ahead. We've gone green through sector 1 and 2. We've got a good run through the final corner here. We're now 5 seconds into Leclerc, so we're still pulling away as we cross the line, but we have a slower sector 3.
You're increasing the gap on the car behind by 0.5 per lap.
So we are pulling away with this race. Tyre wear is really good. We're not really losing any grip on these tyres. Tyre wear upgrades definitely helping us out a lot in this race. Not needing to go on to the hards. If we were on the hards, I don't really know how we would have been going. We still would have been competitive, but there definitely wouldn't be this 5-second gap we have to Leclerc. But we're making some good time here. We're still doing sort of 1:22s in this Grand Prix. We're now 5.6 seconds ahead of Leclerc, who is, look at things, he's pulling away from Gasly, so he's not falling, but he's actually slowly gaining on us there, but he's gaining some massive time on Gasly. Now over a second ahead of Gasly, so Gasly is out of DRS range. But Sainz is still there, and Bottas is right behind Sainz, so that battle for P3 is going to be an interesting one. As we're around the last corner, we've used up all the battery we can for this lap, going for another fastest lap, and we just can't get it. Slower through sector 2 and sector 3. We do a 1:23.1, which is probably one of the slower laps we've done in the few laps that have just gone. So we are losing a little bit of time, but we're still gaining time on Leclerc. 6 seconds the gap now. And looks like he is slowly gaining on us through that first sector. So coming out of that first chicane, we're losing time. Coming out of there, we're not quite hitting that as well as we should. So that's where they're gaining on us. But then from there, once we hit that second chicane, as we go off the track a little bit, we're gaining time coming out of that second chicane. We go green through sector 1 again, so we're going green. We're getting faster and faster through sector 1. Tyres are probably wearing in quite well, not really wearing out, and we go red through sector 2, so we don't have the speed, that high speed down the straight, but through that first sector, that's where we're sort of gaining a little bit extra time. So we make a good run around the final corner. Another fastest lap attempt here. But behind us, we've still got this battle for P3 or P4 now. Bottas making moves on Sainz. So Sainz is dropping so far back. A massive lock up there from one of these guys. I'm assuming Bottas, because he went in pretty hard into that corner, and he loses out as we come onto that home straight. But now DRS activated. We have Sainz has got DRS. Verstappen's now trying to make a move. Verstappen comes along the outside of Bottas and gets the job done there. Up into P5. So now Verstappen is trying to get into the fight. And a little bit further down in sector 2, he's got DRS, and now he makes quick work of Sainz. And so now Verstappen is up into P4 in this race. Bit of a gap up to Gasly and Leclerc ahead. But the gap is widening between those guys there in the top 5. Bottas keeping pace with Verstappen, but Gasly is about 2.5 seconds ahead of Verstappen, so he's got quite a bit of work to try and catch up to him. Leclerc had managed to get back up into the 5s, even sitting in the high 4s behind us, but we managed to make some good time back up in that lap. Only 4 tenths slower than our fastest lap. And we're back up into the mid-5s. 5.5 seconds ahead. As we're now making some gains on Nikita Mazepin, so we're about to lap him. As he lets us go down the high speed straight. Good tactical move there so he doesn't lose too much time. Of course he is so far behind his teammate, it doesn't really matter. We've gone green through sector 1 and 2. Can we get a fastest lap here? No, we can't. We're 600ths off. So sector 3 is definitely our Achilles heel in this race. So we're just losing a lot of time. Gasly now though is trying to make a move on Leclerc. He's got DRS. Leclerc goes to the outside and Gasly just makes quick work of him up the inside. Now Gasly in the AlphaTauri sitting in P2, just weaving his way up through the ranks. And thanks to that little battle, that just opens a massive gap to us now. 2 tenths higher fastest again, still sitting in the 122s, even now.
Rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
So lap 25, 3 laps left, and even this late in the race, we're still running 122s. No DRS. We are using our battery a lot because I really want to push for another fastest lap to see if I can get below that 122.6 mark. But we have now pulled away. Tyre wear 34% on the front left, our highest percentage there. 2 laps to go. The weather is starting to change, but we should be able to get across the line before the rain sets in. Hopefully the forecast is right and we don't get some rain now. Otherwise the last lap could be very interesting. We are 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds now ahead of Gasly as we come around the final corner, heading on to the final lap.
Final lap of the race.
So we went red through every sector in that last lap, but still managed to do a 123.1 I think it was, or 4 tenths slower than our best. So even going slow through every sector, we're still only 4 tenths off. And we have gained more time, 8.5 seconds to Gasly. He's still fighting back there with Leclerc. It's only 2 tenths or 4 tenths now separating them. We go green through sector 1 again on the final lap. Can we push for a fastest lap this time around? Verstappen is trying to make some gains, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get up onto the podium. Leclerc and Gasly still battling. As we round the final corner, we've gone faster through sector 1 and 2. I don't know if it's going to be enough, and it's not enough for a fastest lap.
Team effort. Thanks to all the boys. Grand Prix.
So there we go. Thanks to a DNF from Lewis Hamilton, we managed to pick up another win in Season 3.
You can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know? I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
A show-stopping performance from the 3 drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
So there we have it. Another victory in Season 3. Another victory at Monza. I'm pretty sure we did win last season. So we have come back to Monza again and won. This time with a Ferrari engine, so I'm sure the Ferrari manufacturers will be very happy with that. We do manage to hold on to the fastest lap, so we walk away with maximum points this weekend, 26 points. Pierre Gasly manages to hold on. He started in P10 just in front of us and manages to finish in P2, gaining 18 points for AlphaTauri there. Charles Leclerc finishing P3, started in P3, walks away with 15. Coulthard, our teammate, he managed to get back up into 8th. So he gains some extra points for us as well. Bottas, P5, he'll still have he's got some decent points coming in, which will help his championship hopes after his teammate Lewis Hamilton had a a very disappointing end to his race after being 6 seconds ahead of us with an engine failure. As we take a look at the driver standings now, we managed to jump ahead of Verstappen. We are now up into P3 in the driver standings. Thanks to that fastest lap, we tied Verstappen for points. I think over the race results we've had throughout the season, though, they've bumped us up to P3. Hamilton, 29 points behind Bottas now, so those 10 points have managed to increase Bottas's lead by an entire race. But there's still a few races left to go in the championship. As we take a look at the constructors' standings now, Mercedes still well clear of Red Bull. We are still sitting P3 in the constructors. Ferrari have overtaken McLaren in the standings. They are now P4. So the battle there for the constructors in the P4 and 5 is heating up a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes and how McLaren responds to that, or if they can. After Ferrari's pretty dominant display here today, apart from Sainz just falling off the pace a little bit. I don't know really what happened to him. Leclerc had great pace. Sainz just fell off towards the end of the race there. Maybe some engine components starting to wear out. But they still managed to get a double points finish, I think, which bumps them above McLaren in the constructors. So we're now sitting P3 drivers and P3 constructors standings, which is massive for us. 53 points behind Bottas. We technically have a chance at taking a drivers' championship this year if we can just consistently finish ahead of the Mercedes drivers throughout the last however many races we've got. I can't remember what round it is. I think maybe we've got another 5. I think this is round 11. So another 5 races potentially, 5 or 6 races, which we could do. We could get some decent finishes in the next few races, but we will have to wait and see what happens as we get ready for the next round, which I do believe is, I think it's the Russian Grand Prix. I think we're off to Sochi, which again is another track that I'm quite comfortable in. Bit of a disappointing finish. I think last season we were set for a potential podium finish last season in Sochi, and it just didn't work out. A little collision with Sainz cost us that. So hopefully we can go there and redeem ourselves there with a much better result this time around. If you did enjoy watching this video, do leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next one when we head off to the Russian Grand Prix, where hopefully we can get some more points and close that gap to Bottas and Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thanks for watching.